Welcome to another episode of An Extraordinary Take, where we share extraordinary ideas and visions with extraordinary people. My name is Sibonisile Ngubane-Khosa, and I'm so excited that you've taken the time to join me as we learn and grow together. Let's get into it, shall we? Hi everybody, welcome to An Extraordinary Take, where we share extraordinary ideas and visions with extraordinary people. And the extraordinary person that I am sitting across to today is Phumza, you said? Chuene. Yes, Phumza Chuene, who is a financial empowerment coach and a boundaries strategist, but you're also known as a black tax coach. Now, these are a lot of words. There's a lot going on. So welcome. Can you explain to people what that actually means?
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm also excited.
Yeah.
So what that means essentially is I help you navigate through black tax issues so that you can start building your financial wellness. So I also, in this process, I help you set boundaries with your family with regards to family obligations.
Sure.
Which a lot of us go through.
Yeah. And we're not good at it.
No.
I can't tell you how excited I was when and really it was by God that, because now obviously we started this podcast a little while back and we've got the different social media pages. And usually what happens with the podcast is there's certain episodes that really resonate with people. Mm-hmm. And after a clip, you'll get like an influx of followers. And usually I can't really keep up in terms of pinpointing who everyone is. But on this particular day, I saw your name, and because I think you'd commented on something, and thank goodness I went onto your page, and then I just started scrolling and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is who I've been looking for, because I was looking at the work that you've been doing and just essentially you coaching people on what it looks like to maintain, but first of all, to create boundaries with family, as well as to maintain them when it comes to black tax obligations. We all know what black tax is. There are people who don't believe that the word black tax should even exist. And I understand that, but I do think that language matters, and I do think that it's important for us to be able to put a name to certain things. And whether you're in agreement or not, whether you feel, that no, this is just a duty, it's something that we should be doing or not, that's up to you. But I really got so excited at seeing what it is that you do, because I do think that we were never prepared as Black people.
No.
And the episode, if you have no idea what it is that I'm talking about, we did an episode on essentially the cost of being the one who made it out. And by made it out, I mean the cost of being the one who gets the job, who becomes successful. We know that we live in a country that has incredibly high unemployment rates. So you'll find that in most families, you'll get one or two or three that really have jobs where they can sustain themselves. But then after that, there are the obligations that come where you must go back home and you must fix things at home and da-da-da-da. What made you get into this work?
It's a lived experience.
Yeah.
I started working, and mine wasn't a matter of, please do this for us. It was just a matter of, you've carried me this far. I'd like to do something for you.
Gratitude. You want to give back.
I want to give back. But now it didn't come with limits.
Yeah.
There were no limits. There were no boundaries. There was no structure to the giving. So and I'd get random calls. But, this is finished. And I would give. Oh, but, this happened. And I would give. So I sat with myself. After now I'm resentful. I'm starting to become resentful towards my parents. And those are the people that I love wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, this is not working.
Sure.
How do I now do this? How do we find common ground? And that's when I started now communicating to my parents. And at first it wasn't great.
Yeah.
Because now I'm resentful, I'm hurt, and I'm thinking you're not considering me. But we had to have those conversations.
But what was it that was making you feel that you weren't being considered, right? Because you've just gotten a job, you're excited, everything's great, you've decided you want to give back. So you start, I don't know whether it's on a monthly basis or whatever the case is, you start sending money and da-da-da-da-da-da. At what point does it start to feel strenuous? What are some of the things that are happening that are getting you to this point of a little bit of resentment when this was something that you did of your own accord?
Whenever I want to buy myself something, I first now need to think, but this might be wasteful expenditure. If I buy this and they call, I won't have the money.
Sure.
So let me not buy this pair of shoes. Let me not do this for myself. Let me wait.
Just in case.
Just in case they call, And then during the month, I'll get maybe 2 calls. And then I'm thinking, okay, but now, didn't you call me last week already?
Yeah.
And now you're calling again in the next 2 weeks. And I had never established the word no.
Yeah.
Or not now.
Yeah.
So that's when it started feeling as though it's too much now. And I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Because now I'm watching my peers, they're going out. And it's not as if I don't have the money. I have the money, but I'm withholding this money for someone else.
Sure.
So that's when I started getting to a point of, we need to strike a balance here, and we need to set up a structure where I give this much and this is for the month.
Yeah.
If it's finished, and that's it. If it's finished during the month, please do not call me. I do not have
more to give.
I don't have any more to give. Let's talk up again next month, and it's going to be exactly the same amount. If there's anything above what is going on right now, you need to let me know now so that I can also prepare myself for what is coming.
Yeah.
Now,
this is what I always wonder, and I don't know if you would know. Prior to you working, who was fulfilling these needs, right? Because there are these things that are now coming up. Now you're working and you're getting the calls, oh, this is finished, that's, but your family was still alive and well this whole entire time, right? And they were, I'm assuming, not starving. So before you were working, how were they surviving without what you have now added?
It wasn't even about survival.
Yeah.
It was, now I'm doing renovations.
Yes. You wanted to do more.
I wanted to do more. It wasn't a matter of, we are starving, we don't have. No. I just wanted to do more.
Yeah. And in doing more, you then opened up this expectation of, oh, okay. And I ask this question because I find it interesting that a lot of the times the things we start complaining about are issues that we ourselves, like we open a can of worms and then it bites us and we don't understand.
How?
You know, because the thing that I think a lot of people miss is that people are capable of being resourceful.
Yes.
And it's a difficult thing to wrap your head around. But I often think that sometimes when we undermine someone's intelligence, we cut their hands from under them. Like we cut their hands in their ability to be able to problem solve when we think like, oh, I can do, let me. And then they're like, oh, there's this part of my brain that comes up with solutions that when I've found myself in a little corner allows me to be able to go, okay, kumele ngihlanganise 1 no 2 no 3 so that I can do whatever. I no longer need to do that anymore. I don't need to use that because Phumza's there.
Yes.
All I do is take out my phone and I text Phumza and Phumza says, say no more. Nai e-wallet, you know? And I think that's where the disservice comes in for the people themselves, is that like, whether it's parents, whether it's cousins, whether it's whatever, everyone has the ability. Like God didn't create certain people unless there's like an actual illness, right? Where he's like, no, I'm going to give you fewer brain cells so that you can't come up with solutions for yourself. And when we take on that position of, no, let me be this for you, then those people can't be resourceful anymore. Then they can't figure out their own solutions to certain things. What are some of so you get clients, right?
Yes.
What are some of the reasons you see your clients coming, you know, to you kind of seeking help? What are some of the reasons that they kind of reach out to you for?
They can't take it anymore.
Sure.
They can't keep giving. They've been giving, trying to help, but now the help doesn't stop. You know, it's continuous. And I'm at a breaking point. I've got a credit card, it's maxed out. I've got loans, they're maxed out. I'm literally living from paycheck to paycheck, and I'm also just making it. And they say, I can't take it anymore.
Sure. And then at that point, because you and I, before we started recording, we were having this conversation of how you get the clients coming now when they've gotten to that point where they're like, I can't do it anymore. Like
Yes.
it's not working. And even though, and I do want to mention this because I do know that it's a difficult conversation, and I do know that it's so hard. But I was mentioning that latter part of, a lot of the times, the people that you have decided you want to be guardian over, it's not that they were starving and they were, you know, so one, you've taken it upon yourself to do something sometimes that you weren't asked to do, and you went above and beyond, and now you're stuck in a corner. So what does it look like for you to allow the people in your life that you love to also take ownership and responsibility and accountability for how they run their lives in a way that they're not so dependent on you? But you were talking about how the fact that once you get that influx of clients and somebody comes to you and says, Phumza, I need your help, and you take them through that process, a lot of them can't continue.
Yes.
They can't follow through with what it is that you ask them to do, or how it is that you ask them to put the boundaries in place. What are the reasons for that?
The backlash that they get from their families. I mean, you're coming with something new.
Yeah.
Ne? You're
Yeah.
coming with something new. And the guilt that comes from it.
Yeah.
And now already you're getting backlash.
Yeah.
These are the people that you love. You know, these are the people that you love. These are people that you want in your life, and you want to be in their lives.
Yeah.
And now this is creating a rift between you.
Yeah.
And you want to salvage this relationship.
Yeah. So do they then just decide, okay, I'm just going to go back to doing things the way that I was doing them before because I can't stand the backlash?
Most of them do.
Yeah.
But most of them, it's, it's an internal
Battle. Yeah.
where I want to take care of me.
Yeah.
And you are not considering me.
Yeah.
But also, I don't want to push you too far.
Yeah.
I want you here with me. Don't leave me.
Sure.
So, it's a very difficult one. But other people do pull through.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll leave for a while, and then they'll come back. And they said, I figured that it doesn't matter what I do, it will never be enough.
Sure.
So I want to continue.
Yeah.
I want to do this for me and for us.
Yeah.
And as difficult as it may be, I want to continue on this journey.
And what does it look like, right? So if I'm coming to you and I am struggling with the obligations of Black tax, whether they're self-imposed, right? Because I know that there's also two coins or two sides to the coin, right? Where there are people like yourself and I was similar to you, where I hadn't been asked necessarily. I just felt like, oh, now I've got the means, let me, And I do think that psychologically, that definitely is something that we should look at, right? Because it doesn't exist in other cultures. It is so, and you said it's Ubuntu. And I think there is like an element of that, but then that we take too far, because also it is Ubuntu Betu that leads us to a place where we have no land.
Yes.
So clearly there is something there that we need to look at, where we really struggle with having boundaries, and we struggle with knowing where does it end and where does it begin, and where does this generosity go, right? So I know that on the one hand, there are people who decide of their own accord, this is what I'm going to do. And I know that from that instance, what I have learned and what has helped me be able to really navigate relationships in my life is understanding that people are instinctively selfish. Like whether it's your mother or your father or it does not matter who it is and how great you think they are. Our response is what serves me.
Yes.
So a lot of the times we are putting expectations on these people that are way too high. Like if you go and you decide, Uba, you're going to, you earn 15,000 and you're going to spend 3,000 or 4,000 or however much, or even $1,000 on your family on a month-to-month basis, there is entitlement that's likely to breed from that. Like just do it and then watch the month where you don't send it. There's a little bit of a shift in tone suddenly, now you can't just call and say hello, So I think that's one of the things that helped me to realize that, even when I come from a really good place, because people are naturally just, the disposition is me, it might have a backlash, right? And then there's on the other hand where people are asking of you.
Yes.
You work now. We need this. What is the process that you take them through?
So the process is, what do you want?
Sure.
What are your goals?
Yeah.
What is your vision?
Yeah.
Because you need to have a why. Things are going to get rough.
Yeah.
You're going to get backlash.
Yeah.
You need to have a center to say, this is my standing point.
Yeah.
This is why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Then from there, we work on what is going on around you.
Yeah. Sure.
So this is going on around me. I was raised, this is self-imposed, or I'm getting asked.
Yeah.
Okay. In you getting asked, do you have the language for this? No, I don't.
Sure.
Okay. Let's start with a request.
Okay.
Sponisile, we need this much this month.
Yeah.
You know, this and this needs to happen.
Yeah. Okay, suphelile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Mama, I'm unable to help you at this point.
Yeah.
Can we maybe talk about this month end? And month end, I will only be able to give 750.
Yeah. Not the amount that you asked for.
Yes.
Okay.
Because yes, I'm asking you for 1,000 rand. But do you have 1,000 rand? No, you don't. So within your budget, you need to say, okay, Mama, can I get back to you, please? Maybe in the next 2 days. I just need to go and see my budget and then I'll get back to you.
Okay. Mama says, Aibo, 2 days, yani, when I don't have electricity now. What do you mean you need 2 days? What do you mean month end? I need the money now. Also, you work. What are you doing with your money? Like, I need the money. What do I do? And particularly in cases, because I don't believe that you should only say no when you don't have it.
Everything is urgent. Everything is urgent.
Yeah.
But is it really? You know? I have given you 1,000 rand for electricity at the beginning of the month. Okay, so suya phela ni 20.
Yeah.
How? And also, Mama, anginayo imali right now. I get paid on the 25th. So I still need to travel to work between now and the 25th. I would really like to help you, but at this point, I cannot do so.
Yeah.
We need to start having the conversations because you are coming to me and you're already in a situation. We now need to navigate what's here.
Yeah.
Let's start with the here and now.
Yeah.
And then we start saying, okay, now you need to go back home and have the money conversation.
Sure. So not just in a reactionary way whenever you're being asked, but you actually need to go sit your family down and
say,
yeah,
this is me.
Yeah.
This is how much I earn.
Sure.
This is how much I pay for rent. This is how much I pay for electricity. This is how much I pay for petrol. This is how much I pay for my groceries. This is how much I'm giving you per month. This is how much I'm paying for savings. This is how I'm paying for my investments.
Yo, that's so tricky though, because I can imagine someone saying, what are the investments for? Like, why are you investing when instead of that investment, listen, the comments that I saw on this thing, like, it sounds crazy, but the level of entitlement that our families have towards what it is that we work hard for is actually insane and needs to be studied. And I do know that there are instances where somebody can say to you, investment, I never had to have an investment. So if you're saying you can only send us $1,000 a month because the rest of the money is going to investment, why you not keep it? Or let's say it's not even an investment. Because I know part of the process and part of what you say is a lot of the times we think that we've got more to give because we don't actually have a budget. We don't actually have an understanding of what our own obligations are. So you don't know what is it if you like to go out with your friends, roughly how much do you spend on that? And it's only now when you realize, oh, you can't even go out with those friends because you've been given that resentment starts to come in. Whereas if you had a tally of every single expense that you have, then you would know, oh, I actually don't have an extra 500 rand, or I can't afford to give you an extra 500 rand on top of what I already give you. So how do you respond to that entitlement of, why do you need this money for, especially if you're going to be that vulnerable and that transparent with your family and say, these are all my expenses?
We need to have the conversation because it's painful you're going to now have to say, but we are here now because you never had an investment.
Yeah.
Because had you had an investment, we wouldn't be at a point where you are asking me for money.
Sure. So this is to the family now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is actually in preparation for the future. So that I don't need to go back and ask my children for money.
So I am not trying to make the same financial decisions that you made that have led us to be in this current situation. So of course I will do things differently.
Yes.
Valid point. Very valid point. And I do think that you're a part of what we really struggle with, particularly within our community, is advocating for ourselves.
Very much.
I think we can't advocate for ourselves at work. We can't advocate for ourselves in relationships. And so, of course, we can't advocate for ourselves in
our homes.
In our homes.
Yeah.
And I guess really part of, what you spoke about initially was, what is your goal? Like what, and where is it that you're trying to go?
Yes.
And I think the where is it you're trying to go has to be a much bigger picture. For me, where I'm trying to go is exactly what you just said, where my kids never have to ask me. Where, one, my kids don't have to ask me for stuff because I've equipped them enough with the right financial skills and literacy and don't. But where I also don't have to ask them, where I am not an obligation to my children, where they want to come see me and hang out and they buy me gifts because they want to.
Yes.
Where I don't want to be a list on my children's financial ndondoni at a certain age.
Yes.
I don't want to be a budget list. We need to send money to
a budget item.
What? No. Like then I feel like I would have failed, right? Mm-hmm. So if I think I'm going back to the point because I think people have to think deeper about their why that you were mentioning. Your why can't just be I want to work. What is your why in the future? Is it like real financial stability? And if it's real financial stability, it means you need savings and you need real proper savings. And what does that then look like in the now? If your why is you want to be one of those kind of parents, which is in my case, where when my kids go to college, they've got a car that I've already set aside for them. They've got an apartment just to give them a head start because I know what it's like to be earning just the bare minimum and now you're already paying for rent, and I want them to not have to struggle for things like that. So if that's your why, what does it look like now? And what does it look like to have that conversation with your parents to say, well, we're here now because you never did that. What does it take for a person to get to there? Like if you're looking at the clients that get there and the clients that don't, what's the difference?
Courage.
Sure.
Courage to stand by your why. Because this is your why.
Yeah.
It's personal.
Yeah.
It's where Phumza sees herself when she's 50. So obviously, usibonile there is need to see it or agree to it.
It's yours. It's personal
It's
to
mine.
you. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just saying to you, Sibonile, this is where I am going. And in order for me to get here, these are the things that I need to do now. So when I say to you, if 500 is what I can afford, I'm asking you to please accept that.
Okay. Sure. It is, I can imagine it is very difficult. I want to speak to you about someone who is fresh out of the box, like a freeman who just started working, who's excited and overzealous and is so grateful to his parents for raising him, which I'm an extremist, okay? So I already have an issue with that, right? Because like I was saying to you before we started recording, it is a wild thing to me that you can meet somebody and you guys come together and you make a child or you make children, and then you now must meet the responsibilities of what it takes to raise those children up, and then at a certain point those children must pay you back for that, or there's a certain obligation, whether you're calling it paying it back, or because I'm sorry, if I now have a month-to-month debit order that is going to that feels like a debit, that feels like I'm paying. If it's that, like if it's not that, oh nje, I just feel like, let me shower these people, let me spoil them, let me take them, because now we can't even do family trips with our families. How, something nice, the way we're building relationship and whatnot, because there's these obligations. So already I've got a question mark about that. I don't know. That's weird for me. And my stance, because I'm an extremist, is don't even start. My thing is don't even start. Like, izokuxaka anyway. Don't, especially because if you were raised in a certain place and we grew up, whether we grew up in Lokshini or whatever the case is, but we were living and we were fine. If you get to a point where you can now live maybe in the burbs, I think your family should be, not that it's a status symbol or whatever, it's just more money. Your family should be happy for you and not say, oh, because you now live like this, we should too. That's weird. But okay, if I'm new, I just got my internship, and my internship pays this much, or maybe it's a little bit more. And now I get this nudging that comes from trauma of wanting to do these things. What is your advice to me? How can we nip this in the bud before it gets to a place where we're now going home and we're having these difficult conversations and you must now take out your payslip, which is a very personal thing. And it gets to that point where you're explaining to somebody, I can't afford this. How can young professionals who haven't gotten to that point or who have just started, how can they safeguard from themselves from getting to this point where they're in so much strain because of the money that they must give to their families?
Know your why now.
Okay.
The sooner you have a why,
okay,
it is the sooner that your financial plan follows your why.
Okay. So what is your, I guess it's goal setting.
Yes. What are your goals in life?
Okay.
Where do I see myself in the next 5 years? How do I get there? Your money will then follow your goals and your why.
Sure. And
then you go and you have the conversation.
But why am I having a conversation?
Because you don't want the requests to come. So before they come,
sure.
Before they come,
okay,
let's have the conversation.
Okay. Now the conversation where the requests haven't come yet, what does that conversation look like? Because no one has asked anything of me. What am I saying?
You're saying exactly what you are saying as a person who has received requests.
Okay.
You are saying, this is who I am, this is where I am, this is where I would like to be in the next 5 years. And this is how I would like to get there. Could you please assist me? Walk this road with me, if you can, or support me on my journey as you have in the past, and cheer me on.
Yeah.
And should I fall off, maybe remind me to say, hey, didn't you say that this is what you're doing? Why is it now that you're going off and buying 5 sneakers? Have you lost the focus? So they want to see you succeed.
Hopefully.
But you must own it. And they will support you.
Okay.
Most of the time than not.
Yeah.
They will support you to say, okay,
sure.
At least she knows where she's going and she knows what she wants to do.
Okay.
So let's support you.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that they won't make requests, right?
But you can reference that
but
conversation.
You can reference the conversation. And you can also say, okay, let me have a look, and we can then discuss it.
Okay.
I feel we never have open conversations.
Yeah.
Our parents have never sat us down and said to us, this is how much we're earning here at home. This is how much we spend on food, on rent, on rates, and this, and your school fees, and this and that. I don't know.
That's
My
that
parents
doesn't
have never had
exist.
that with me.
Yeah.
You know? So we need to start enabling a culture where we are talking. Let's talk. Imali ayilumi. Let's have these conversations.
Sure.
That's why even in marriage, you find that imali is a difficult conversation.
Yeah, because we're not used to it.
No, we're not used to it. I get married to free men. I have these obligations at home. Now, Freeman and I are paying a bond. You know, and then there's a month where I say, yeah, but, you know, something at home.
Sure.
We never had this conversation. Let's talk about money.
Why are we so uncomfortable with talking about money? Like what? Because the point that you're making about the fact that at no point where did your parents ever sit you down and say like, hey, this is where we're at, so that you also know that obviously at a certain point, I can't imagine having that conversation with like a toddler or like somebody who isn't at a place where they can receive it, right? Yes. So that you have an understanding of one. I think I see it more from a place of you have an understanding of what does financial responsibility look like? And this is what it takes for these people to hold this place together. This is what it takes for these people to have this roof over our head. This is what it takes for these people to, take us on holiday if we're going on holiday, And I think a lot of the times, by the time you're coming to your kids and you're saying, oh, I can't do it, there's no money, they're like, what happened? What's going on? Why is there no money? And I like the lens of having the conversation from a place of this is what financial responsibility looks like, rather than scaring you into going, oh, my parents are poor, like there's no money, but just going like, oh, this is what it takes. Yes. And I actually remember there's a friend of ours who, like, her mom was a single mom, and she actually used to do that, now that you're mentioning that, because she had a couple of kids and the husband had passed away, and I think it was after their dad had passed away that she realized, okay, I don't think these people understand how much things need to change here. Yes. So she used to take her pay slip at the end of the month and sit all of them down and then say, okay, this is how much is coming in, this much is going to you for this much is going to this much, and then after that we've got this that's left over to and afterwards her kids started doing the same things with her. Yes. So why don't we do that? But what are some of the benefits that you've seen come out of that type of transparency?
There's support. There's support. There's love. There's understanding.
Sure.
There's growth.
Okay.
How do we then help you to meet these needs?
Yeah.
And there's joy.
Yeah.
Because once there becomes, you also get to a place of, okay, we've done enough of this. Let's do something nice. That reward.
Yeah.
For everybody, it gives them a refreshed sense of, this is why we're doing it.
They also know your process.
Yes.
Sure.
And also the next generation then starts to see that, so Sisbonisile wasn't wrong, she was right. This is how I must also do it. So before I go and buy that pair of sneakers, I need to
refer back to the goal.
I need to refer back to the goal, and think, okay, is this pair of sneakers worth it?
Yeah.
Do I really need this pair of sneakers?
Yeah.
Or do I just want it? I have a friend of mine, and she says what she does with her son is that if he asks her for something, he'll say to her, okay, come back to me in the next 3 days. And if you really need it, then we can have this conversation again. You know, come back to me in 3 days.
Yeah.
And then let's see if you still want this thing.
Yeah.
And in 3 days, he comes back. It's like, maybe not.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because he has an account.
Yeah.
And she said, in 3 days, let's have this conversation again. And let's see if you really need this thing.
And I guess the role of that is dealing with that instant gratification that
Yes.
we all want, which, I mean, it's so important in the sense that it's not that the money's not there. Because I think I want us to move as a community. I want us to move from a place where we're having these conversations because you're in so much debt now. You're now up to here and you actually can't make it because now that's reactionary. I want us to move from having this black tax conversation to a place where we're going, no, imali kona. In fact, plenty, but I'm still saying no because you need to learn, one, how did you get yourself to a point where by this date, you didn't have enough of this?
Yes.
That means, one, you're not planning ahead or you're planning with me in mind. Don't plan with me in mind.
You are my emergency savings.
Yes. Like I go, oh, I only have this much. So I actually shouldn't buy this because Izo pale and I'm not going to make it through month end. But then I go, I can just ask this one. And I think a lot of the times we don't know that we are someone else's emergency fund and we are enabling bad behavior because we don't want to teach Uba, hey, for us, like when I was in college, if my parents had given me the set amount of money, if I ran out, I couldn't even go back and ask.
No.
It was done like that. And then I had to make a plan, which is why I just got myself a job because I was like, this is not sustainable. So on weekends, I worked and that's what kind of helped me, right? But again, it's that thing that I'm talking about is that because I was backed into that corner, I then had to problem solve for myself. And a lot of the times when we're taking over, we don't allow people to do that. So I would like the conversation to move from just, you're now going to a Phumza because you're,
Khamegi.
like it's too much, or now it's even causing issues in your marriage because, and people that are married do this where you send money to your people and you don't tell your partner.
Yes.
And they send money and they don't tell, and it breeds contempt eventually. It breeds so much contempt eventually. Whereas if we can get to a point where from the get-go,
Yes.
when I get that job, I set myself, like you're saying, some goals where I'm like, okay, short term, I would like to move into this neighborhood because it's closer to work, but the rent is a little bit higher. So that means I maybe need to spend in this way. And if I'm transparent with my family about that and I can say to them, look, I know that you guys are excited that I got a job, but I just want to let you know, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be helping out with anything yet. I'm not at a place where I can. But if certain things do come up, it's gonna be those things where I have been given notice well in advance. So what does it look like then for us to really consider, I don't know is that you? Okay. What does it look like for us to get to that point where we're not reactionary, but more, I guess, coming from a place of, okay, I'm setting the goals, because I think that's like the most important,
Yes.
the most important part. I'm setting the goals and then I'm sharing the goals. Maybe let me ask it in this way, because I don't know if every family is able to receive this. Right? I think we're speaking best case scenario.
Yes.
what are the telltale signs? What are some of the things that you can look out for that let you know that it's safe to have the conversation with your family versus not? Because I would say, for example, if you already have very supportive family who are like, oh, we're so happy for you, all the best for the job, is there anything you need? I would say that gives me a good indication that I can have this chat with those people. Whereas, there's some others that I think you could volunteer that information and they could use it against you. So how does one discern whether their families ready for this conversation, or does it not matter? Should you have it regardless?
You know your family better, right?
Yeah.
You know the kind of people that they are. And this is what I say to my clients. You know you. You are not responsible for the next person. Ne?
Yeah.
So this journey is about you.
Yeah.
You can choose to have the conversation. You can choose not to have the conversation.
Yeah.
But in choosing not to have the conversation, you then now need to be able to set the boundaries.
Yeah.
And in setting the boundaries, you need to be firm about them.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to repeat them. And you need to be able to stand by them. Because once you bend,
it's over.
It's over.
Sure.
So it's essentially about you. Set the boundary, repeat the boundary, don't bend.
Sure. I think that repeat is tough because people will try their luck in different ways.
They will.
And they'll keep coming back.
They'll keep coming back.
But you have to
say, not today.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Yeah. What are the, I know that you give your clients scripts.
Yes.
What are some of the, what do those look like? What are some of the variations of those scripts?
So the variation is we're going out shopping and you see there's a special.
Yeah.
And you want this thing.
Yeah.
So the conversation is, okay, I have set out 2,500 Rand for groceries. If we take this, yes, it is on special.
Yeah.
But we'll be going over and above
what
I have set out.
Yeah. Is this now you going with your family for shopping for your groceries?
You're going with mom or with whoever.
Yeah.
And then, you're obviously now going to have the conversation to say, you now need to prioritize.
Yeah.
We can take this. It's not an issue.
Yeah.
But it means we'll just need to take away something else.
Okay. So you have to have a consequence.
Yes.
Okay. So it's like if either you've got that script, whatever your script is, and if it's, no, I can't, we're revisiting month end. If for whatever reason you decide to go left, you're saying, if I give this to you now, it means next month instead of 1,000 Rand, you're only getting 500 because it went to that. So essentially what it looks like is attaching it to a consequence instead of just making it look easy.
Yes.
Okay.
So the scripts are for you to practice.
Yeah.
To build up your confidence.
Yeah.
Because you're starting something new.
Yeah.
You've never done this.
It's never been done.
You've never done this before. The person on the other end has never received this before.
Kind of feedback.
This kind of feedback before. So I'm giving you scripts so that you can have a conversation, a simulation with yourself.
Yeah.
Simulate this conversation.
Where you even preempt what they might say.
You know, and then you also come up with things that you are going to say. And it's okay if you get it wrong the first time.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it right the first time. You're not going to get it right the second time. The third, the fourth time, the fifth time. You're going to get the hang of it.
It takes time.
It takes time.
How long did it take you?
Oh,
that sigh. Like, whoo.
It took me a while.
Yeah.
It took me a while. Maybe 6 months.
Yeah. Okay.
Took me 6 months.
Okay.
Because I had to say, okay, I'm cutting off the cash.
Okay.
I'm cutting off the cash. This is not going to happen anymore.
Yeah. So you just completely cut it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you need anything, because I was living in the Western Cape,
Yeah.
when I come home, we can go and look for
Yeah.
whatever you need.
Yeah.
And then it will obviously be discretionary.
Yeah.
But we will then get what you need.
Yeah.
But I'm cutting out the cash.
Sure.
What I will do instead is I will pay for the medical aid.
Okay.
And then what I will do is that I will do a yearly grocery.
Okay. What does that look like?
That looks like me going into a stokvel. And then I'm doing bulk.
Okay. So you give it once at the beginning of the year. Love that.
So you can't then now call me because I've taken care of the bulk of the stuff.
Okay, I love that.
So during the year,
it's on you.
It's on you.
So you're no longer doing the month to month thing.
No.
Okay.
Now that I've moved back home, though,
yeah, obviously
we've now
navigated
have
it differently.
had the conversation again to say, okay, now I'm home.
Yeah.
What are you responsible for? What are you responsible for? What am I responsible for?
Okay. What do you think is the best way, like in terms of what you've seen with clients and the people that you've worked with? Do you think it's the month to month? Because I think the month to month is crazy. But that's me. You're the expert. And the reason why I think the month to month is crazy is because it breeds that entitlement, but then it creates this thing where we know for fact that this is coming from this person, and God forbid should anything happen to you, those people are now left stranded and they don't know, and I think that's not necessarily helpful in the long run. But I like what you're saying about, like, if you do want to help, because by the way, I'm not saying leave your family and they must fend for themselves. They must, because you're also fending for yourself, by the way. Everyone is fending for themselves. But where you can assist and where you can be of assistance, especially with people who can't work, who aren't able to do it for themselves, I really think that's important to do. But I like what you're saying about that, the stokvel thing, where you do it once at a certain point, and then you're kind of teaching them that thing of, oh, Phumza, her help comes at the beginning of the year, and then the rest of the time we have to do this thing ourselves. What are some of the other ways or some of the other things that you kind of teach clients to be able to do? Because I've never thought of that and I've never heard of that. I think that's quite a unique way to be able to assist without creating that dependency.
Let's prioritize.
Yeah.
What's more important?
Okay.
Do you want me to help with school fees?
Okay.
Or do you want me to help with renovations? So which one are we going with? Are we going with the renovations, or are we going with the school fees?
Yeah.
Or are we going with me investing so that when Sponisile does get to a stage where she's going to university, there's money for her? Which one do we go for?
Yeah.
So that we can all know, and I can give a 6-monthly update.
Yeah.
For instance, to say, if we're going with the investment, this is how much I started with, this is how much I'm pouring into it on a monthly basis, and this is how far we are.
Yeah.
So by the time Sponisile is 18 and she needs to go to school, this is how much she will have in the investment. If we're going with the renovations, what is falling apart now that we need to deal with now?
Yeah.
How much will it cost us?
Yeah.
How long can it take me to get there without me having to break my back.
Yeah.
I think the mistake that I made was I wanted to do everything and finish it now. And there was absolutely no rush, you know? But I felt, no, we must push.
We must,
We must do it now and must get finished and end. And there's no rush because there will always be something else.
Yeah.
There will be a tap that leaks.
Yeah.
There will be a pipe. There will be a drain that's blocked. You know, so what do we need to do?
Yeah.
Okay, the house is small.
Yeah.
How many of us are living in this house?
Yeah.
What has become so small about it?
Yes. Why is the house now small just because I started working? All along the house wasn't small. Now because I'm working, the house is small. Hi guys.
Okay, what has become small about it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm leaving, I'm going to rent if that's what needs to happen. Then is the house still small?
Yeah. So why do we need these renovations?
Why are we doing these renovations? Okay, I've decided I'm doing the renovation. Maybe Mama must have her own ensuite.
Yeah.
Ne?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
How much is this ensuite going to cost me?
Yeah.
Can I maybe go, I think cash build and build it.
Yeah.
Have a system where you can go and pay in money.
Yeah.
And then when you feel you have enough, you can go and take material that you need.
Yeah.
And then, you can deliver.
Yeah.
Let's consider such options.
Yeah.
Then we can do it that way. But also, how much is the builder going to charge me, etc.? If there's things maybe which are missing, do I create a 10%, 20% buffer within this whole arrangement?
Yeah.
You don't have to do it all.
Yeah.
You don't really have to do it all. Let's prioritize. Like you're saying, we are not starving. We were not starving before this. The house was big enough for all of us. We now need to prioritize Bonisile's education, her future. That's what we now need to prioritize.
Yeah. And we want better, right? Like I think at the heart of the conversation is we should want progress.
Yes.
And what progress, like my husband always says that like every generation must improve upon what the other generation has done, right? And I think a lot of the times what we do is you want to kind of go back and we must all be in this crooked place together and no one is able to make it out, and it's like the house that my grandmother is going to have versus the house that I'm going to have may not be the same. And I think that's okay. I don't know, I think that's okay. At least it's okay. And I'll give you this example. I remember Trevor Noah came back to South Africa to do this interview with The Daily Show the one time, and he took them to his grandmother's house. And yay, the people in the comments, his grandmother's house looked like a normal grandmother's house. Certain things, just not, it wasn't like a house in Bryanston type of vibe, which for whatever reason is what people were expecting because it's Trevor Noah, So people are there in the comments, how can he be living overseas and his grandmother and no. And I don't know if it was just people in the comments or if he had to end up explaining where people were just like, hi, but guys, what's going on? Because this is where the grandmother lives. The house is not falling apart. She's fine. She's happy. She's showing him, and then she's like, I want a new TV, Then he's like, no, I'll get you a new TV. But there seems to be this expectation that now, before you can live in that house of yours that you live in, you must go back and you must build a maza of a house for the people. And I don't know, where do you stand with that? Because it could be me, right? I think there's a sense of pride that the older generation, the ones that you come from, should have of like, look at what you've built. As opposed to, before I can build the thing I need to build, I must go back and build yours. Then I must start over and still build mine. It feels like it's a working backward for me. But I don't know. What does it look like? Is there an obligation for us when we start working to go back home and renovate our homes? I don't know why. Especially if there's nothing wrong with the house. It just looks like a house.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to go back and build. I see people, they build huge houses.
Yeah.
I mean, we still live in the same 3-bedroom.
Yeah.
My mom can't clean the house anymore. Because my thing is, okay, I'm going to go back home and I'm going to build the 5-room and I know Makaya kuba no ronda
Yes.
and whatnot.
Yeah.
Who's going to clean those places?
Well, now you need to get a helper.
Who's going? You see?
Because you have a helper, Kalokwena, they're in the burbs, so they must also get a helper.
And now you must remember there's maintenance.
Yeah.
There's painting of these things.
Yeah.
There's taps which break, basins. There's constant caretaking
Yeah.
of these things.
Yeah.
And we don't factor that.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
Make your people comfortable with what is there. There's no need to
live
go
within their means.
big. They're comfortable. It's
Yeah.
a 3-bedroom house. It has an ensuite.
Yeah.
She's able to go into her own bathroom.
Yeah.
She's sick.
Yeah.
She can make it to the bathroom.
But also when you're ready, I think
When you're
maybe
ready.
that's the better
Yes.
conversation.
When you're ready. Don't now I'm starting out, I've just gotten a job and that's the first thing that I do. You know, I always say to my clients, if you were to invest this 100,000 that you want to take now from Standard Bank for this renovation and you go and you invest it, how much would you get
Yeah.
in returns?
Yeah.
I'll get 5,000. Okay. With these 5,000, what can you do?
Yeah.
No, I can fix the kitchen,
Yeah.
put in the rugs. Okay. Then do that.
Yeah.
Put in the rugs.
Yeah.
What can you do with the next 5,000?
Yeah.
No, I can change the stove. Okay. Change the stove.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a big thing for it to mean something.
And I think there's definitely a deeper conversation to be had around why we want it to be a bigger thing, and what it is that we're trying to earn, right? What is it that we're trying to get from these families? Because what I'm also learning is there is this thing of like, see me, and a lot of the times there's definitely a hole that you're trying to fill there. Whereas like when I go home to my grandmother's, I don't feel obligated to bring anything. I just know that lady is just happy to see me. And then when I leave, she is scrambling, trying to figure out, oh, amakinati, oh, no, what can I, oh, have you eaten? And when I'm home, it's just about, taking care of me. So there isn't this thing where I feel like, if I don't have anything to bring, I can't go see my grandmother. Whereas I find that like when it comes to other certain relationships, whether it's parents or whatever, it feels a little bit different. And I think there is something for us to be able to look at, that we need to look at, to say, what is it that what void am I trying to fill here? What wasn't done? What didn't I receive that I'm trying to get by showing up in this way? Why does my boot always need to be filled when I go home? Why can't I go home as I am and be received just like that? Or be having a very tough month and say, you know what? I just want to go home to my mom and eat amasi and, and sleep gurondo and just feel loved. Why must it come with all this material things? And that's why you are saying at some point that the clients that come back are the ones that realize nothing I ever do will ever be enough. And if you can get to that point earlier, then you can realize the thing that you're searching for, this need that you're trying to fill, those people can't fill for you. If they couldn't do it for you when you were a child and you needed it, then that means you have to figure out, how can I feel enough? Because we see how these things show up even in friendships and whatever. You see the guy who must always be buying drinks for his friends, and it's the same iteration of the same thing in different ways, right?
Yes.
So I think at the core of it, there is a longing that as Black people that we have to really be seen and loved and embraced by our families, that when we start working, we think we can feel by showing up with the material things. And I think that is the core of this conversation. And it's to understand that if your people did not have the capacity for that, when you had nothing to give, they may still not have the capacity for that, even with all that you try to give to them. And so what is the takeaway that people can get from you in terms of this work that you're doing? And one, it's so important what it is that you're doing in terms of teaching us to have boundaries. But what is the takeaway? What is it that you would like people to leave with from this conversation in a way that really radically changes how they see Black tax, how they see the obligations of family, how they see themselves and their futures, and what it really looks like for us to get to a more secure place, particularly as Black people?
I think the first thing is you are enough.
Sure.
As you are. You are enough. And trust me, your people love you. They love you. You don't need to buy them through money, through gifts, through, doing things for them.
Yeah.
There are other forms of showing up, of showing love.
So true.
To your people. How I show up these days is at a funeral, I'm at the back, I'm at the kitchen. I'm making sure that things are running smoothly. I'm making sure that when you're out going to the gravesite, everything here at home is up to scratch. The stations are ready. By the time the mourners come back, they should find us ready. So how can you show up for your family in ways which don't need money? The takeaway really is, guys, yes, we need each other.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to be there for each other. But there are other ways to be there for each other instead of money.
That's so true. And I think I used to say that when you go to a funeral or you're watching TV and somebody is passed on, and they're being interviewed, like the family members are being interviewed, I used to cringe at how often I would hear family members say, "Hey, he was a bread, like he always used to come with food and he always used to buy us drinks. He always used to, and I always used to say, it feels like a lot of the times that we speak about each other, we speak about the material stuff that we're able to do for one another and not the person. And not like, oh, they had such a beautiful smile. Phumza would just come into the room and everyone would feel like everything's going to be fine, or just how organized she was. And I think sometimes the onus is on us to show our families who we are outside of what we can do for them in the material, and in just who we are, like in just who, in our little quirks, give your people the opportunity to love you for other things.
For who you
For who you are, not just what you do. So shock them every once in a while and come home and bring nothing and spend time with them and see what that does. And if they can't accept you without that, then we're having a different conversation. Then was there ever love there in the first place? Because we say that in friendships, no one wants to be friends with the people who only call you when they want things. So the same should apply for family. And if you really want to be embraced for who you are, maybe the onus is now also on you to stop the showing off, to stop overdoing things, and just this December, other people's families are gonna kill me. but I really do think, like, try it, visit for a weekend and bring nothing and just chat and ask people how they've been doing. How are their friends doing? Chat, have a good time. Don't give anyone 100 rand, that uncle of yours, and it's fine if those little things that are said, someone said to you, oh, when imali yako iyaguma debit order, take it up on the chin, but set the boundaries, repeat, don't bend. I think that's the crux of what it is that you've said. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. I really, really appreciate it. Where can people get hold of you to actually get these services and to have help? Because we know that it's difficult to have you walk this journey with them till they get to a point where they are resilient enough to really even deal with the backlash that it comes with.
So they can follow me on Instagram. My handle is Phumza Chuene. And on my Instagram, I actually have a link that they can follow, and they can get the downloadable guide, which is actually a script. And then from there, they can also book a 15-minute call with me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Guys, do make use of Phumza's services, and just, I guess, always remember your why. Always remember the greater goal. What it is that we're hoping for is that our children will have even more than what we had, will have better experiences. And in order for that to happen, we have to be able to have the difficult conversations that our parents weren't able to have. We have to be willing to do what has never been done before. So really look at where you are. What is it that you need to start nipping in the bud? Does it mean instead of going from month to month, you do something big at the beginning and you allow them to carry themselves? Or does it mean you cut them off and you allow them to carry themselves and you help them when it's really, really needed? I don't know. It's dependent on you. But thank you so much for joining us. Let us know what you thought of this chat, and I hope it's helpful. Here's to breaking generational traumas, curses, all the things, and just overall becoming better and growing. It's hard, but I think we can do it. Thank you so much. Goodbye.